Yeah, so next we got Canada really messing up here. It's all by the feds, of course. Provinces should not allow this to happen. So this was brought up to us by a listener called Hamilton Strong, and I got an email over this. Chinese police are establishing stations overseas in worrying crackdown on citizens abroad. All right, so that's the Global Mail headline. Now this is behind a paywall. So I got the Epoch Times article about this. So Epoch Times: Chinese police set up overseas service stations, quote, including in UK and Ireland. The way that they're operating, we'll have a link to this article so you can read the whole thing, but I just got to go quickly on this, is Chinese restaurants and supermarkets are among station addresses, and they're basically setting up these police stations in 88 countries or regions, and it's happened in Canada, where like members of the Chinese Communist Party, of course, are running what's called Chinese service stations, but it's under the guise that they're looking for criminals accused of online criminality, and they kind of focus on scams, like internet scams. But when the Chinese Communist Party is running it, it basically takes the effect of anybody that's overseas thinking that they're safe to speak out against the Chinese Communist Party. These people are being tracked down. These people, and this is how they operate, and they have operated for decades. Well, I don't know. I mean, probably forever. But they track people down and threaten the family these people have back in China. And they're forcing a bunch of people who've made their way out of the authoritarian regime, forcing them to go back and answer to charges. So this is like Chinese operating their own police in all these different countries.
Crazy.
So that's the basic rundown without reading
Definitely something that
direct
needs to be
quotes.
looked into. That's for sure.
Well, it's definitely happening in Canada and shouldn't. And then our next article here: Chinese police training in BC, an espionage risk, critics say. This is on BIV.com. Justice Institute of British Columbia has partnered with China's Public Security Bureau to facilitate a one-way exchange of students to Canada that critics say is ripe for espionage and contrary to Canadian values. British Columbia's Police Academy has a growing international police training program tailor-made for China's Public Security Bureau that critics say is a threat to the country's security and common values. You think China wants to send police over to Canada to learn how to be nice, kind police officers?
Yeah, no kidding.
No. There's this is most definitely sinister, and yes, one way.
Well,
But
we know they've been training the military too, so it's a whole nother thing they've been doing that I wasn't aware of. So I'm glad we're able to bring this up
yeah,
'cause this is pretty big.
yeah. So you people in British Columbia are fucking up. That's a guarantee, right? And this kind of thing needs to
Oh,
stop.
for training CCP police, right?
Why?
Like what the hell?
Like China doesn't have the resources to train police. Give me a
Yeah, what the
break.
hell is going on here? Exactly.